Hey guys, we're here for another video. Today's video, we are going to actually show you all the ingredients, the supplies and materials that we have for our bug out bags. Okay, so first,
Apocalypse now.
First, Chris, can you tell everybody what a bug out bag is?
A bug out bag is something basically prepared right at your door in your garage, something you can grab quickly just in case you have to bug out really fast. Usually contains survival equipment, food items, health and hygiene materials. What we're going to try to do today is show you some things we've picked up along the way and possibly get some tips from you guys on what you might need in a bug out bag in case you need one.
All right, so we'll go through each of our groups of materials with you guys and show you what we've got so far.
All right, everybody, before we start packing our bug out bags, we need to make sure we select the appropriate bag for our needs. You have a couple of options here, but you want to make sure you scope out your scenario before you make your selection. For instance, if you're in a dense big city, say New York or Nashville or what have you, you don't necessarily want to be walking around with a gigantic sea bag on your back that looks like you're on a rucksack hike or something like that. You want to blend in as much as you can in any situation that calls for you to bug out. So maybe just a backpack, your basic school backpack or your cargo backpack that's seemingly innocuous. Nobody's going to look at you and think that you have your whole life survival needs in this bag. And while it does hold less than a standard sea bag, you will still be able to get all of your necessities in here. So big city people, think about a bag. For my country folks or people a little more rural than that, think about something a little bigger. This is my Navy standard issue sea bag, and I can guarantee you it will hold everything you need. Very deep, lots of pockets, lots of clips. But again, you want to make sure that your bag choice suits your situational and scenario needs. All right, guys, for our first section, we have our tent, tarp, and terrain. All of our materials are waterproof. That's going to be one of your main concerns if you ever have to get out in the elements. You want a pop-up tent, something easy. You don't have to work with a lot of poles and stakes, something that just fixes into place, and you wanted to make sure it's appropriate for your family size. We got one that can accommodate our small four-person family, but a two-person tent or even a one-person tent could work for you. If that fails, you want to go to a tarp. Make sure that's waterproof too. You can always set this up on some corresponding branches to arc over your sleeping area. Again, waterproof, keep you out of the wetness and the elements. Sleeping bags. You want to make sure that these are thermal insulated and waterproof as well. Helps keep you warm, helps keep you dry. And if these fail, you want to go to things like raincoats. The main focus is making sure you keep yourself dry. It's really hard to maintain your dryness and subsequently your health if you ever have to get out in the elements, especially during the rainy or cold seasons. But make sure you have all your bases covered. If you don't have this, you can also get some contractor trash bags, which if you cut a hole in them will work well as ponchos to help keep the rain off you, snow off you, dirt, grit, and grime. Also, just as a side note, gloves, socks, maybe some beanies or head scarves. Make sure you have some of these in your bug out bag as well, because you never know when the weather will turn on you and you might need to cover your head, cover your feet, cover your hands, those appendages that can get cold on you, even get some frostbite on you. So make sure you're covering your bases and get out there in those elements.
All right, we're going to talk to you all about some hygiene types of things.
All right.
So if you're ever in a survival situation, clearly your resources, depending on how long you're out there, your resources will eventually run out.
Right.
But at the start, it would be really nice to have some sanitary cleansing cloths. Before you have to resort to grabbing leaves and moss to wipe yourself, it would be comforting to have just a few of those small amenities that you're fairly used to. Also things just like sanitary wipes. Again, we know that these things will run out, but for the start, it would be good to have something to just sort of, get you used to being in your new environment. Ladies, very, very important, and this is something that we don't often think about, but having some sort of reusable menstruation type of device. I ordered like a Diva cup. I can use this, rinse it out, things like that. You can boil water, sterilize it again if you need to really sanitize it, but just don't forget about that. Yes, having some quick tampons are great, but eventually those will run out and you're gonna need to be able to take care of yourself. Other things, really, really important to me. Having just like storage sealing bags, Ziploc kind of bags are gonna be really important. Let's say you have supplies that need to stay dry. We don't leave home without our word.
Right.
So making sure that, you've got your word of God, any.
So are you saying that's spiritual cleansing items?
Spiritual cleansing. I love it.
Spiritual cleansing items.
All right. Also other things to maybe even consider. Important documents, maybe like a copy of your birth certificate, your kids' birth certificates, passports, things like that. Making sure that you've got things sealed up in something that's not going to get wet, not going to get destroyed. These are important things to have. So just consider these items as you are including materials for your bug out bag.
You also want to consider medical and medicinal supplies when you're constructing your bug out bag, because being out in those elements, you can get sick quickly. Firstly, pain medicines. Twist your ankle, knock your knee on a branch, cut yourself, anything like that. You want to be able to mitigate your pain as much as possible. We just got bulk acetaminophen, one both for daytime use, and if you have a hard time sleeping and you're in pain, they have nighttime use acetaminophen as well. Just use it as directed. We also have some Band-Aids and alcohol prep pads. If you get a cut, definitely don't want to get an infection when you're away from home. So alcohol prep pads are invaluable, as well as bandages. Something we don't also often think about is chafing and your skin getting dry while you're out in the elements. So body oil gel, basic body oil gel will take care of most all your ashy needs. Bacitracin oil, a lot of people have heard of Neosporin. This is the heavy-duty baseline factors of what Neosporin has. So if you get cuts, you can even put it on your lips as some lip balm. If you don't have actual lip balm, you can also use Neosporin and bacitracin oil. Can't go wrong with Vaseline ever. Everybody knows this getting slathered on since you were a baby. Hasn't changed since then. Very good stuff. Something that I found works well if you find yourself nauseous, get a slice of gum. A stick of gum will help with a lot of different things. Hunger, if you have a little sugar craving or whatever, but mostly if you just need that, I'm feeling a little queasy, a stick of gum will help with that.
Yeah, and I think that another really good point to add on to that is that, like, we're not using this like, every morning we're just rubbing it on. I mean, this is going to be clearly like an emergency type of situation.
All of this stuff you see, you want to use sparingly.
Very sparingly.
Veronica mentioned your personal wipes. It's good to transition and have a few at-home amenities, but don't go ham on them.
Yeah.
You want to use them sparingly.
They will run out, yeah. All right, now we're going to look at some materials that we need for construction,
woodwork.
Yes, exactly.
Your basic tools that you might need on the go.
Exactly. If you find yourself in the woods for a small but especially an extended amount of time, you're going to really need to start working on a more permanent shelter. Yes, the pop-up tents, the tarps, those are great for 1 to 2 nights or so, but if you're going to be there for an extended amount of time,
a more permanent structure is usually preferred.
Exactly. So we're going to start with, we've got like some folding saws, okay? We chose specifically folding saws because clearly they fold, so we don't have to run the risk of getting cut, okay, or injuring yourself. Okay, we've got little ones, So we want to make sure that, you know, the blade is nicely put away. So we've got those. We've also got some hatchets, okay? These we chose particularly because while they can chop, you know, small branches, wood, things like that, they have this really hard back that you can kind of double this for a hammer as well.
Speaking of hammers, try to bring some nails with you. You never know when you might need to fix one board to another or one piece of wood to another. So just
Very
having
important.
some basic nails will go a long way. Also, with those hatchets, you never know when you might get into some dense foliage. You might need to chop down some weeds or some bramble or what have you. Just having a nice machete to give it a good whack could be handy.
Yes. And making sure that you have a sheath for your machete to go in is going to be important. The worst thing to do is to cut yourself in the woods and then you just, you're messed up.
Right.
We actually, I was talking to my cousin and he actually mentioned these. I think these are amazing. These are actually like chainsaw blades. We chose these particularly because they are extremely lightweight, much lighter than than the other ones. You just, and Chris is holding it right now, you literally are able to wrap those around like a tree and you literally just saw, okay? And actually I saw a video that says you're supposed to keep your arms straight when you do it, okay? But you can literally saw a tree. It's literally a chainsaw blade.
Chainsaw on a rope.
Yeah,
it's got these little
very light
handles here.
Yeah, very, very light. This is going to be great for your bug out bag. Great option. Additionally, having some small knives, okay? A little pocket knife, that's going to be important. This one has a bit of serration as well. Okay, so having a folded pocket knife, you can cut something if you need to kind of shave away different woods and make sure that you get things more precise. This is a really, really great tool to have, something that it's a must-have.
Yeah. With that, also consider getting a multi-tool. I know a lot of us know about the Swiss Army knives. A multi-tool could be invaluable. We need to think about that too. We
need to get that. Thanks for saying that. Other things that are super, super important, rope, okay? These are like a braided rope, really important. A lot of these have like the 7-strand reinforced. They can hold up to, you know, however many, you know, tens of pounds. Right. So these are really important.
That one is a polypropylene braid.
Thank you.
You'll find nylon braided ones as well, which are just as good. We also got some plastic cordage or plastic clothesline. If you ever need to just use a clothesline and dry some of your clothes that you may be washing, or have just some smaller cordage to wrap some things together or to affix things one to another, having rope and cordage, you can never go wrong. Never go wrong.
Duct tape. Your best friend, duct tape does everything. This is just a really small roll. We have several rolls. This is so important. It works for everything, literally. Yeah. Like waterproof, everything. In addition to this, I love these little clips. These clips. Yeah. These clips go on everything, especially like with our bug out bags. We've got all the holes and ringlets. You can just clip this on here, affix your pop-up tent to that. This holds everything. Right. You just a really, really great tool.
Eye protection. A lot of people don't necessarily think about eye protection. This is something you use around the house if you're weed eating or whatnot. But if you're in the woods and you have to cut something down, or you're going through some thick brush, you want to get something that'll cover your eyes. Yeah. I think it's invaluable. Something to think about.
Yes, something definitely to think about. As well as something else to think about, just like some working gloves. If you've got room in your bug out bag, go ahead and try to include those. I mean, hand protection is really important.
It's vital.
You know, your hands are going to be, if you're literally constructing a little bushcraft cabin, your hands are going to be hurting, callous,
splinters,
all
blisters,
sorts of things.
cuts.
So protecting your hands is really important. If you have space, it's really lightweight, just stuff it in your bug out bag. It's something really important to have.
Very important. Yeah. So, tools and construction. There you have it. All right, guys, we have a section here that puts the power back in man's hands. Batteries, matches, radios, lighters, things of that nature. You want to make sure that you can have a little bit of literally power in your hand, fire in the palm of your hand if you can. If you don't know how to make a fire with just a couple of sticks and some kindling, make sure that you have some lighters and matches in your bag. So what we have here is just 300 count large kitchen matches that you can strike on box. You also want to consider some matches that you can strike anywhere, and you have also element proof matches that you can look. But these are your basic kitchen matches, strike on box, 300 count, really inexpensive and very light.
Yeah, I actually picked those up at Dollar Trees. I don't know if your Dollar Tree stocks them, but really good thing to have. Also, lighters. Bic lighters, I think, are our favorites.
Bic lighters, yeah.
Bic lighters just work so well, and they are inexpensive. To me, I feel like this is probably the most reliable source. I mean, It has the fluid. If you have enough of them, you know, we've got several packs. If we got enough of them, you know, this should last you for a good amount of time out there.
Especially if you're using them in tandem with your dry matches and your fire starters, magnesium fire starters. What you want to do with these is they have a little grinder on it. You can scratch off a bit of the magnesium onto what you're trying to light. Maybe you have some kindling or a little bit of sticks. Scratch off a lot of that dry leaves. Yeah, scratch off that magnesium. Get your match or your lighter, and it'll create a quick fire source for you.
Okay. I'm not good at these. I have no idea how to use these, but
check out our next video. We're going to be doing several
practice.
Fires from scratch. We're going to do old school fire starting versus new school fire starting, and we're going to see how we do. But check us out.
Yeah, don't be too harsh. We don't know what we're doing with this. But anyway, having just a couple of candles in your bag can't hurt.
Maybe
clearly,
a candle.
Yeah. I mean, clearly this won't last for a long time, but having a few just doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. Just having those, I think, is good.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, flashlights.
There you go.
Really, really good flashlights. Okay, making sure that you have these.
Yeah.
If you have your batteries, which is awesome. Okay, you can be able to replenish these at least for a little bit. These won't be your primary source. Okay, but having these on hand is going to be important.
Right. And make sure, like our last section, having those plastic sandwich bags to help keep your batteries and your lighters and your matches, all those things dry is essential, because if you can't light it, you're not going to light anything.
Exactly. Also, having a pair of binoculars is always a good thing to be able to spot. You know, if it's coming down to the fact that we're trying to find food, hunting things,
or just scoping out the terrain before you traverse it. It's
exactly.
always, if you're in a scenario where you have to bug out, you want to make sure that you're being hyper vigilant and super aware of your surroundings. So having binoculars to be able to see far ahead goes a long way. Also, with being aware, having a little solar powered or a manually powered crank radio is important. I think this will run on batteries, but like Veronica mentioned, those things are going to run out eventually. So you have a little crank on the back where you can wind it up and give it some juice. You also have a solar powered panel here on the top. So if you find yourself out in the sun, you can just set that down, leave it in the sun for a day. Perhaps you'll get some news on the radio or some sort of update. Maybe even keep in contact with some of your friends. Speaking of which, walkie-talkies. A little two-way system might go a long way. If one of you or a couple of you have to venture out, do some scouting, you want to make sure you can keep in contact. So having these types of things go a long way to help bolstering and securing your bug out bag. Any tips you guys might have, something we might have missed, let us know. But this
these
is
are
what
great.
we're thinking about.
We definitely got to pick up some walkie-talkies. That'll be important.
For sure.
Thanks so much.
All right, y'all.
We're here to talk about food. Clearly, we know that, you got to have shelter, you got to have warmth, you've got to have water, you've got to have food. All right, so first, starting with water. I think you can only go, 3 days without water?
Right.
So water is going to be so important.
Right. And you don't want to carry as much water. You don't want to carry a bunch of
Water is
gallons
heavy.
of water. Yeah, water is very heavy. And we're always thinking about the weight of what we're carrying in these bug out bags. So Veronica got a little creative with her water options here and got a precise water filtration straw.
Yes, you guys, these are crucial. And I'm telling you, I was talking to my cousin and he actually suggested this. We looked it up, very inexpensive. We got a pack of 4 for like $30. Very, very important. These, I think they are good for like 5,000 gallons, something like that. They're really, really, really important.
Right.
So having these are really important. The manual's there. They're very easy to use.
Right.
You literally...
I think you just open it up and stick it in the water source that you're trying to drink from and just drink from the straw. Inside, they have a filtration system. They have the charcoal and steel barriers to catch the micro and larger particles that might be in the water. But when you're choosing your water source, something that I've learned is that more often than not, go for a running water. If you see a waterfall or a trickling brook or even a river, those are fresher to drink from than your sitting pools of
stagnant water.
Yeah, where things can become stagnant and bacteria can collect. But if you don't have a steady water source and you have to be on the go, a water filtration straw will help ease your mind when you're taking your sips.
These are awesome. Also, another thing that we don't have, but it's also a very good thing to include, are like the water tablets.
The iodine tablets, and charcoal tablets.
So important. We will probably make sure we pick up some of that as well.
Right.
Also, as we are talking about water filtration, having something to collect your water in. Okay, we've got just like this little easy little camping, little set. Our little pots and pans, very light. We can just stack them up. It just comes with a bag that you can put everything in. Okay, but you can have your water collection here. Very important.
Boil your water, and if you're gonna boil some water and you want some food, how about some very light and easy to make instant noodles?
Yeah. So obviously, food is going to be super important. The biggest thing that you're going to need to do when it comes to food is you're going to want to find food that cooks relatively quickly. Light food, food that cooks quickly, and food that's not going to be large and going to take up a lot of space in your bug out bag.
Minimal preparation.
Yeah. So like, for instance, inexpensive, quick food that lasts for a pretty decent amount of time. Ramen noodles are like the go-to, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you want to get more elaborate, check out your commissary. If you're military,
get you some MREs.
They also sell them online. You can get several of those. They have like survival tabs, tablets that you can eat.
Little chews that are packed full of calories and proteins.
Protein bars, all sorts of things. You're gonna want to make sure that you find materials, foods that you're going to be able to pack easily. Also,
Austin's.
I only
peanut
eat
butter.
Austin.
We only eat Austin's, but Austin's peanut butter crackers, very light. I think peanut butter is a quick shot to your protein need.
Yeah.
And gives you that
Filling.
quick energy to keep moving if you have to keep moving. Peanut butter crackers.
Yeah, peanut butter crackers, small things, light things. Clearly, we know that if you are in a survival situation, especially a very sustained, long survival situation, your food will run out. You're going to have to figure out other food sources, but this is at least a good start. Other things that you may want to consider in your bug out bag, it may take a while, but you may want to consider like some heirloom seeds. If you're going to be in a spot for an extended amount of time, you're setting up camp, maybe getting some heirloom seeds in your bug out bag, putting them in those Ziploc bags. If you have enough food to last you a little bit, and you may be able to start planting some quick sprout seeds.
You know what you could do?
To get some crops. What?
You could get a couple of potatoes, just take with you. Let those things start sprouting. Start spudding. You cut those out and plant those.
There you go.
You want to make sure that if you have to do a thing, you have the things you need.
Yes.
Seeds, planting, food. All these things are going to be essential if you ever have to grab your bag and go.
Yeah.
So think about it. Let us know what you thought.
Also, one thing that we don't have included in this, but something that's so important, just having like bottles. We have this cup, but having like a bottle, like
a reusable
bottle, just something that has a top on it, something that you can
do you mean like
keep
a
thermos, or even just like a water bottle, just something that you can put a cap on and you can travel with, okay, to have that water with you.
Well, let us know what you guys think.
All right, we've come to probably the last section of our video for our materials, and that is personal defense. So, if we are in a situation where we have left our homes and we are now living off grid, it's probably because society has collapsed.
It's a good reason. Society collapsing is always a good reason. Everything's gone completely foobar, as we say in the military, and you want to make sure that you have what you need to protect yourself, your family, and your belongings.
Yes, very important. Now, some people may disagree. Some people may be a little uncomfortable with defending yourself. However, for us and our family, we've decided that this is something that we do want to include in our bug out bag. All right, so let's talk about the materials we have.
So when most people think personal defense, your mind immediately goes to some sort of firearm. And if firearms is something that you use or are familiar with, you want to make sure you're choosing the right piece for your bug out bag. So we have a couple of choices here. First, you have your standard pistol or sidearm. We've got 9mm and 380 auto. Not super big here, not super heavy, but when you're thinking about your weapon choice, also think about your ammo choice, and always consider the weight, because I don't know how many of you guys are often hiking or often bugging out, but it can get a bit heavy after a while. So always consider your ammo. 9mm, 380 auto. If you have a bigger sidearm like a 1911 45, get you some 45s. Very good personal defense round to make sure that you'll keep yourself protected. Going a little bigger, if you have any longer guns, 5.56 ammo for your longer rifles might be the way to go for you. Not for everybody, but might be for you. If you're a shotgun guy, make sure that you pack your shells. Whether it's buckshot or a slug, you want to make sure that you have the ammo that's right for you based on the weapon of choice. If you don't do firearms, you always want to have some sort of item that'll protect you. Veronica showed us earlier these knives that's good for whittling by the fire, but also if you need to you know, real quick, it's funny now, but in the situation where you might need to protect yourself, because not everybody is as sane as you watching this video, make sure you protect yourself. This one is a special shout out to my Uncle Jonathan, who made sure that I was prepared with my own special throwing hatchet. You can see it has the wound rope on the handle for a nice grip, and has a pointy and a hatchet side of it for all of your pointy and hatchet needs. So, personal defense, man. Yes. I think it's personal. It depends on your comfortability, what you're familiar with, what you've used in the past before, and what will bring you that peace of mind. But let me tell you this. There's really only one thing that'll bring you peace of mind in the apocalypse. I mean, things are going to be crazy. Things are going to be upside down. And no amount of preparation and no amount of ammo stockpiling is going to really cover you in the end, like the covering of Christ's blood for us. I think him dying for us, him covering us, him setting us up with a hedge of protection has been the most invaluable preparation that we've had all our lives. And I don't know, pack what you need, but if you don't start packing your spirit with the word of God and listening to things that bring you in closer alignment with his word, this is all just exhaustible, all exhaustible material. So yes. And I want to kind of leave you with the thought of, you know,
one of the topics I think that's most discussed in the Bible over and over and over is fear not. Jesus, God did not want us to be afraid. Perfect love casts out all fear. Fear not, for I am with you. For lo, I am with you always, even until the end of the world.
Lo. I love that.
Fear not, okay? It's important to prepare because faith without works is dead. Very important to prepare, but we need to be trusting in God. We need to never fear anything. We need to trust that God is going to carry us through whatever this world may bring.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we want you to let us know what we missed. Let us know if anything is too much or too little. Any suggestions you might have. I know that there are experts out there in a bunker right now watching us and saying, they need to have some charcoal bits in there.
Tell us.
Yeah, tell us what.
Write in the comments.
Tell us what we missed, and we'll add it to us. Thanks for watching.
Thanks so much.